think we should wait like 20 solid seconds. Nah. I won't invite you. I guess you're invited.
No big deal.
No
All my
big
friends can
deal.
see. I don't have many, but
Well, I tagged it in the intro. It should technically go in your feed, but I guess we'll see. Just reach my iPad. Jay can grab it when he gets back. So, how long have you been teaching the advanced pistol class?
it's actually a new course that I've been teaching, but it's just because I haven't been in the civilian world very long.
So, if you had to have you been teaching the beginner's pistol longer, or is it all about the same amount of time?
It's all about the same amount of time.
How long have you been teaching NRA courses?
I started March of last year, so about a year.
Do you find that it's different? You have a different group when you teach the NRA groups versus when you announce and procure your own group of trainees and just do your own curriculum?
I'd say similar but different. Get more of the I was doing the carry guard program with NRA, so it was a whole lot of advanced shooters that wanted to get involved with that until it started getting popular than some of the beginner shooters. But get more serious people in courses that I try to teach, just because I kind of assume the knowledge that they know most of the basics when they take my courses. So.
When are you going to put Kendra through some low light tactics? It's past time.
Whenever you sign up for my next course.
So you are doing low light tactics, next month?
Next weekend.
Next weekend.
This weekend. Today's Monday.
I can't come back next weekend, Dan.
Yeah. Well, I'm just going to have to come to California and do it.
You're going to have to come to California.
Chad. What's up, Chad?
Hey, Chad. Do you like a group better? Do you like teaching beginners versus advanced better, or is it different every single time?
It's different every single time. Definitely depends on the person. There's some advanced level people that take courses just to see how much they can critique you and assume that they're better than you. And there's some guys that are all about learning and continuously learning, just as myself. I still take courses from awesome guys and learn from awesome guys. So
yeah. Getting
that training is important. But beginners are always fun.
Yeah. Why do you find beginners are fun?
They don't have a lot of the bad habits that most advanced people do.
Yeah. And everything is new, so you feel is that a point of enjoyment? I find that for me, when I have beginners, when I'm coaching soccer or anything else, to see the rapid amount of progress quickly, you get a little bit more satisfaction, I guess, or you can see it much more quickly, how little benchmarks.
Yeah, and also kind of if you're a good instructor, you kind of know how people learn. Everybody learns differently. Obviously, you can't have a cut and dry course with the exact same material each time, because everybody's just not going to receive it the same.
Yeah, I tend to agree. Worst bad habit is trying to train a coastie. Well, Dan, you would know. Dan was a coastie. So do you incur that a lot? Advanced shooters that want to critique you? Is there one in every group, or do you get them a lot, or are they more rare, more the exception?
I personally haven't ran into anybody like that. Usually people do ask a lot of questions and involved in most of the training that I do. But I've had a couple buddies in that similar industry kind of have those guys, but I don't know. I've never run into a person personally that's tried to get involved in what I do. It's usually because I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. I just kind of improve on it and make it a more stronger wheel.
Yeah. So, high-low from this weekend's course, what was your favorite section? Teaching what section?
So I like the retention shooting, close quarter shooting, just because a lot of people aren't exposed to that kind of thing.
Yeah, I'd never done that before.
People don't realize there's more to shooting than just punching your gun straight out and shooting. So shooting from retention, shooting straight out the holster, knowing the why behind that and how to properly do that, it's pretty good. I enjoy that piece.
I had no idea the physical like exertion or toll it was going to take on me shooting from retention. Do a lot of people point that out?
Yeah, it's just because it's just muscles that most people don't usually train. It's not like you
Right.
do compressed body workouts. It's all full length stuff. It's always full press, full pull. So the short, quick, compressed holds and movements is something people aren't used to.
Yeah. And I mean, I think, when you fully present your firearm, like your body absorbs that recoil. And when you shoot from retention the way that you showed us, the recoil just goes right up your arm. There's really just nowhere for it to go.
Yeah.
So that's a really strange feeling.
It's a different aspect. Instead of managing the recoil with your body stance and your full body behind it, usually shooting from retention, it's more muscly. So it's mostly arms and stuff. But getting those touch points is always important so that you can get as much of your body behind it as possible. Because if not, it causes your gun to short stroke and definitely not eject that round properly, as you saw a few times.
Yeah, so I did have one that the shell didn't eject. Why is that?
So usually when people are shooting, you're completely behind the gun, and you're basically holding that firearm still, so it allows that action to take place where the slide racks back, ejects the round with the force of the gun going off. But when you're sitting there holding it from retention kind of at the side, if you're sitting there kind of floating it, you pull that trigger and that gun goes off, you kind of ride with that slide, so you're not letting that slide work completely.
And there's less back force to
Yep, so that
create.
blast goes up in your hand and the gun goes back, and so that slide's not getting that full rack, and so you'll just basically shoot and your shell won't eject.
Got it. When shooting from retention, do you prefer hip rotation to engage multiple targets or foot shift?
Well, I try not to shoot multiple targets from retention because I usually imagine retention, somebody's on top of me, so it's probably on the ground or somewhat, so I would do a hip shift and then try to work my way to my feet. It's not realistic to train from retention with targets spread 2 to 3 feet apart because you're shooting from retention to kind of make that distance to obviously get a better platform going so you can accurately put rounds on multiple targets. So it's more of a hip shift to kind of a foot shift kind of deal. So you're working your way to get a better stance and better body position to engage multiple targets.
Yeah. So is there any part of your coursework that you have to teach that it's not very fun, it's not very enjoyable, or you always have safety fuck ups or whatever during that time?
Yeah, they're gonna put you in Facebook jail. No, I enjoy all the aspects of it. I try to make it all pretty enjoyable and practical. There's not really a boring part.
Mm-hmm.
I usually kind of expect people that show up to some of my classes that they've either incurred boring parts or kind of curious to learn more. So I try to apply everything to an everyday carry situation or a realistic situation. I try not to range it too much and put a range mentality in people when I train.
Yeah. If you had it your way, would every CCW holder take a training course like yours?
You damn right. It kind of rubs me the wrong way and makes me scared for my life sometimes to see what it requires to get a CCW license.
What little is required, you mean?
Yeah. People kind of get an aspect on when and where they can carry, but not why or how. Some people require you to shoot, and then if you shoot in a general direction, you're good to go. You don't really have to hit anything. And then that person thinks that they're confident enough to carry that firearm in public, and then not really having to shoot from any stressful situation. It's kind of also on that shooter as well. You definitely want to be a better person. If you're going to take the responsibility of carrying a firearm, you should also become a better shooter.
Yeah. So I for myself, I had no idea how much was involved with just such dynamic shooting. And I've always been the target shooter that goes, stands at a bench and, punches my holes in my paper target, puts 50, practices my basic fundamentals, puts my gun away and goes home. That's always been me. And I had no idea the work that was involved, the concentration that was involved, the mental focus that it's required, moving from the place where you engage the target, clearing your holster, making sure that, there's nothing behind your target that is going to be, a secondary target or that's an innocent that can get struck by, a stray, or if you miss, all of these things had, occurred to me, but not in a practical sense. Does that make any sense?
Oh yeah. The world's dynamic. Everything you do is a dynamic situation. Can't think of one instance where you just stand there static in any type of thing you do, from going to work, walking around. You're in a 3D environment. I tell people you're in a 360, 270 environment, but a lot of people get in that range mentality because it's all they have or all they go to, the range, which is basically a 180 kind of environment, but you're literally shooting probably 90 degrees in front of you, 45 degrees in front of you.
Yeah.
So that's all they focus on.
Static target, zero conditions, no wind, no perfect light, no noise, apart from other reports of, other firearms. Nothing's moving. You're not moving.
So what's the best gun known for home protection? The best gun known for home protection is the one you know how to use. So there's not really it's not really a personal preference. Some people say, oh, shotgun because it's the easiest. Oh, rifle because it's less recoil, or a pistol. It's whatever one that you know how to use personally. And yep.
Best gun is the one you train.
Train.
Ding, ding, ding.
So if you decide to use a shotgun for home defense, you better get out there and train with it. If you decide to use a pistol for home defense, get out there and train with it. If you decide to use a rifle, get out there and train with it. Don't assume that somebody else says it's best for them. It's better for you. I like to compare firearms to kind of like a good pair of tennis shoes. Your best friend could have these awesome running shoes, but they won't fit you right. You got to get out there, train with what you can. But if you decide to stick with something, stick with it, train with it, and be comfortable with it.
Exactly. So we did talk about that briefly, and I kind of wanted to talk about it a little bit more. There's always a discussion, a back and forth every time someone says, "Oh, I'm going to go pick up a Springfield XD." Or I'm going to get a 40, or I'm going to get a 9mm. There's at least 5 guys that have 7 opinions about, oh, that's not going to be a good gun for you, or that's not going to be effective. That's going to be really difficult to learn, or it's harder to shoot than a full platform. For example, for me, I love my subcompact. I'm a small person, so, handling a big full platform is just unwieldy, and it's one more thing that I need to stack on top of all the things I need to remember to train. So what's your take on that?
I know what's comfortable for me, and I know what I'm comfortable with shooting. And I kind of express that to people when I train. Like, hey, this is what I do, this is what I train with. But I always tell people, just kind of like the home defense piece, you got to find something that you're comfortable with. If you're not comfortable with it, if it's bulky, if it kicks too much, or, it's just a pain in the ass, people aren't going to mess with it. It's kind of like I go back to the shoes deal. You get these awesome, great pair of shoes, but they're not comfortable, or they rub you the wrong way or whatnot. You're not going to wear them very often. You're going to keep it in your closet. Same thing with the gun. If you don't train with it and you're not comfortable with it, no matter how awesome the instructor says that this gun's the best thing since sliced bread, if you're not comfortable with it and you don't shoot it more often and or do well with that platform, then you're not going to shoot it. It's just going to be an awesome gun that somebody else recommended to you. So I always suggest going to gun shops and gun shows, getting a feel for it, after you kind of learn that proper grip and whatnot, see what feels good in your hands, and kind of, if you can, there's a decent amount of ranges that do gun rentals, definitely whenever a chance you get, try to get on there and test fire some guns, see what's good for you and see what you're comfortable with, because the more comfortable you're with that gun, the more likely you are to use it repeatedly.
And it becomes like a bit of a relationship, don't you think?
Oh, yeah.
I know when I first put, picked up my Springfield and, fired the first mag through it, I instantly loved it. And I've shot a few guns. So I feel like most people will have that experience. Do you?
Yeah, I mean, you'll get some people that don't know any better and be like, oh, I guess this is the way the gun's supposed to shoot. Had a lady in one of my classes that brought a revolver. It was one of the judges, and it's like a 12-pound trigger pull, and she's like, she hated shooting just because it took her all the effort in the world to pull that trigger. It's just because she wasn't exposed to any type of guns, so she didn't shoot very often. She's like, yeah, I've been around guns all my life, I just don't shoot very often because I don't enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's one of those things, if you want to get involved in that thing, you got to go explore all the other avenues. So I loaned her one of my mini pistols that I have, and she was like, wow, I guess I got to get a semi-automatic because they're more user-friendly and whatnot. But that's, here nor there. There's definitely a lot of old-school guys that all they've done is revolver, so that 12-pound trigger pull is second nature to them. So it's like I said, it's a comfortable thing. If you're not comfortable with it and you're not training with it, then you're not going to continue doing it.
And connection, like, you'll feel a connection. Like, you get connected. If it's not like instant, it's like the love at first sight thing. It's the same way with guns. That's my opinion.
Love at first shot.
Love at first shot. Love at first mag.
That's a series I know Miss Julie Gulab does.
Is it?
Oh yeah, she's a sweet little NRA lady.
We gotta find that.
Love at first shot.
Hook it up. All right, so there's a rumor about the mill that you may be having a class in California.
Yep. So I try to I travel when I do my classes because it's not about the facility; it's all about the instruction. So getting a group of people together that are interested in wanting to do it, just scheduling a date is something that people are interested in. Get some friends together and whatnot.
So if you guys are interested in taking Joe's class, Integrated Pistol, he can mix. It's probably a little easier, it goes a little faster if it's a group that has a little bit of experience and has their safety fundamentals down. By the way, any safety violations between John or myself this weekend?
No, you guys were super on the ball as far as safe direction and muzzle awareness and whatnot. I usually run a continuously hot range, so it's I hate the whole admin purpose of safe and unloading your gun every time we're done with a string of fire because it's not realistic. So if it's in your holster, it's safe as long as you don't have your hand on it and you're waving it around.
No push-ups for me, Dan. Yeah, so Jay and I, we've had it drilled into us pretty hard, and if you want your kids to be safe, you have to set a good example for them. So if you're not practicing what you speak, then the kids are going to see it, and obviously they're going to follow it. So we do take our kids to the range, and we need for them to see that this is how it's done. There's no exceptions. This is life and death. So there are no exceptions to any of these rules. So no push-ups for us. Jay, you got questions? No questions? All right. So Joe will be out to California if we can assemble a group of at least 8 medium to advanced shooters, absolute beginners. We won't say no to anyone. It's just the course moves a little bit faster.
Yep.
If everybody's right about the same level. Safety fundamentals are a priority. So if you do not at least have the safety fundamentals for pistol shooting down, then I would say get them done before requesting to be a part of the class. So if you want to be a part of the class, you can inbox Joe, you can inbox me, you can comment on the video, and we will be getting back to you. We're hoping by mid-April we should have a date, have a plan, and if we can't assemble a group, then we won't be able to do it, and that won't be any fun.
Yeah, it's no fun.
All right. Thanks, Dan. Thanks, Chad. Thank you guys for tuning in. Hey, Victor. Chad got your wife one, and you shot 8 guns, and she shot the last one and loved it. Tight group, she and I knew it was one. Yeah, it's just like that. It's always like that. I have fallen in love with a few different things, and I know the first mag I put through them. Is that when you usually know?
Yeah.
First mag you put through it. All right, guys. Thanks so much. Thanks you.
Oh, my pleasure.
It was a good class.
You guys be safe on the way home.
Yep. flights coming. Please pray for no delays. No more delays. We already have one. All right, guys. We'll see everybody soon.